Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, which means it's time for a Matt or a Craig test. I'm here with the legend himself, the star of the Bear Pit, the absolute legend in his own mind, the one and only, Matthew Clearly. How you doing, Matt?
Yo.
You're right.
Legend in my own mind.
Yeah, basically. Here's some exciting news though. Matt is going to be doing a Q&A on the NETRIX this month. He's doing the masterclass this month by popular demand. You know, that one person that kept asking, we're going to say yes to you. And Matt's going to be doing a Q&A on the NETRIX. He's going to be talking about how to perform on stage. He's going to talk about how to carry yourself on stage, how to project. He's going to answer any and all questions about anything at all, including stage management, backup dancing for Take That. Anything and all subjects will be on the table. So I'm really excited to have you on the Q&A. If you're a NETRIX Silver member, it's going to be the last VMC of the month. No, the penultimate VMC of the month, because the last VMC coincides with like the weekend from hell, where you're doing like multiple illusion shows on 2 days in a row. So it's the weekend before. So look out for it. It's going to be amazing. But anyway, it's not about your superstardom right now. It's about the Craig test. You went to Blackpool.
I did.
And you bumped into your mate, Mr. Greenbeard.
I did. Yeah.
And Daniel Dorian.
Multiple times, actually.
And if you don't know Daniel Dorian Johnson, we rave about him on this channel for good reasons. He's an amazing mentalist. He really is. He's an incredible mentalist, an incredible creator of magic, and a man who likes to sit around in his spare time and swallow swords. It's kind of weird.
It's very impressive.
And you chatted with him, and he gave you, or you bought, I don't know which one it is, but you've picked up.
Yes, I did.
A new trick that I haven't even seen.
Well, I was going, but I've forgotten it.
Not surprising. If it's anything that involves anything else other than the Stebbins principle, we're basically fucked.
No, I forgot that I literally haven't bought it with me.
Although I can't say that anymore. It's now Stebbins, an electronic dice, and a cardboard tube.
Cardboard tube with some plastic rods in it.
Yep. So.
And a candle. But I was going to show you Mr. Johnson's new trick, but I've left it at home. So I'm just going to tell you a story.
Okay. Well, you are a storyteller.
I am a storyteller, exactly. So a few years ago, I had all of my shit stolen.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I gave it you back.
My bank account got hacked. This is true, like it actually happened. My Netflix account got hacked, didn't it?
Yeah.
So there was like, I looked on my Netflix the one day, and there's my profile picture, and then 4 random guys had their profile pictures on there, and they had the cheek to use their actual photos of the people that they're actually there. So, and they hacked my bank account and literally wiped my bank account out, my email, my phone, Facebook, the works. I don't know how they did it. I got my money back, came back within about 6 days, I think. It was pretty quick, but those 6 days were pretty panicky, and that genuinely did happen. And then when that happens, you get all these phone calls and emails from like cyber security people saying, "Oh, you need to protect your blah 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 better, and we need to get better passwords and get better cyber security because the world that we live in at the moment, this could happen and it could happen again and yada 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 yada." So I ended up, out of all of these people, going for a consultation to just see what the deal was with getting this security. I ended up, I've still got it because it makes me laugh to this day. I've still got the card that the guy gave me. Gordon Morris.
Gordon Morris.
Gordon Morris.
Does not look like he's safe with children.
Gordon Morris is a prick.
Oh, wow. I'd just like to say right now, the opinion of Matt Cluley does not necessarily reflect the opinions of Magic TV, Non-Stop Kids, or Slightly Unusual, or any of its subsidiaries. Carry on.
Gordon Morris is supposed to be a personal protection consultant that deals with all of this kind of online cyber security stuff. Mm-hmm. The guy is fucking useless.
Why?
He's just not very good at what he does.
Okay.
So I went and sat down with him and had this consultation. By the way, he tried to charge me over $1,000 for his 1 hour consultation. And I'm like, I'm coming to see you because I've been robbed. I don't want to be robbed again by you.
You think somebody, maybe I'm just being a bit ageist, but you think somebody that's in cybersecurity would not look like 146?
I think he looks a little bit what would happen if Neil Patrick Harris when Neil Patrick Harris gets really old. I think he looks a bit like him.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, he's useless. He's the ideas that he comes up with. So he gave me like 2 or 3 different ideas of different things that you can do to protect yourself better in the modern world. And they're crap, basically. And he talks about, one of the main things that he talks about is it's like triple something or other, triple protection or triple crypting or something like that. So he basically talks about you have to use stuff that you already know, like numbers and things that you already know that are already in your head. Like, because people use their like pin numbers and stuff for like other things, everything, or the same number for everything.
Yeah.
So he's like, don't do that. What you do is you triple encrypt stuff.
Okay.
So you take numbers that you already know, but then do stuff to them to create other passwords so that if you forget them, you can backtrack on yourself.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just get Apple to create a password and I just like go, remember that.
Well, yeah, but this was before I had an Apple, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, good point. 2 years ago.
A couple of years ago, I didn't have Apple back then. I was all Android. But I tell you what I'll do. I'll show you one of the things that he does. One of the methods that he uses.
Please do. Go ahead.
And what I'm going to do is use his number because fuck him. So what we do, like these, the number that he's at and these, that's his mobile number, right? Call him if you wish. Call him a prick. I know we're not supposed to put people's numbers and stuff online, but honestly, screw him. So they're in 3 different sections, right? Mm-hmm. So Mike, you can do it first actually. So you've got like the start, the middle, or the end of each section. So the start would be those 2 numbers, the middle would be those 2 numbers, the end would be those 2 numbers. Make sense?
Yeah.
So you start. So you go for the first section, and just pick either start, middle, or end.
Middle.
Don't tell me what it is, but like start, middle, or end.
Oh, right, okay. All right, I'll change. Yeah, okay. Yep.
You got it? Mike, you can do the same. So out of these 4 numbers, the start would be that, middle would be those 2 numbers, end would be those 2 numbers. Yeah?
Yeah.
Just don't tell me,
Okay.
but just pick start, middle, or end.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Sure? Okay. Yeah, I'll do... Okay, I've got one as well. I'm going to do it as well. Okay. So the numbers that you have, that was like the first one would be to split those, and the second one is to pick the one you want. The third one we'll do. So we need a shorter number to make a passcode. Okay. Obviously, the numbers that we've got are going to be quite big. So if you take the 2 numbers that you've picked,
the 2 numbers you said 1, didn't you?
Well, yeah. So it's 1. So it's 2. Those are 2 numbers. That's 2 numbers. That's 2 numbers.
Ah, right.
Do you know
Okay.
what I mean?
Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So take those 2 numbers and add them together. Don't tell me, but just add them together. Yeah? Do you want to do the same? So you picked the 2 numbers, just add those 2 single digits together.
Yeah.
And then I'll do the same. So if you want to, can you just go onto my calculator?
Yeah.
Perfect. What was your number?
12.
Okay, type in 12. What was your number?
8.
8. Perfect. Just times that by 8.
Yeah.
And then my number was 13, so times it by 13.
Yep.
And this was kind of his method of what to do. And then when you click equals, that's going to be your new password. Yeah, go for it. Fuck it. So that would have been... What does that say? 1248?
Yes. What?
It's a bit weird.
Why?
Because this is the way that he said to do it, to generate a new passcode.
Right.
For your phone.
Okay.
And we used obviously his number and stuff.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 numbers that we put in.
Yeah.
That's really weird, man.
Why?
Well, try and unlock my phone.
What was it? 1, 2. Hang on. 1, 2, 4, 8. Wow.
That's actually unlocked my phone. That is my real unlock phone. That was the password. How the fucking hell did... See, the reason that I had that as my password as well, because remember I was telling you at the start that I went to see this guy and he tried to charge me over $1,000 for a consultation?
Yeah.
The reason that number was in my head is because 1248 was the fee that he tried to charge me. How strange is that?
Bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Weird. Yeah. Cool. Nice story.
Thanks.
All right. All right. Okay.
And just to be clear, Gordon Morris, not a real person. That picture is generated by AI. It's not a real person, not a real phone number. What are you doing?
Just doing an experiment.
Are you trying to figure out how it's done?
No, it's not that. It's just I want to make a point, but I want to. Okay, yeah. Yeah. You didn't have to do the final bit, did you?
No, anybody.
No, it was,
could do it.
yeah.
It's just because there's only two of you.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fairly obvious how it works.
Okay.
Do you want me to whisper to your ear?
Well, no,
switch it off and.
I'm pretty sure that you're going to know how it
Yeah.
works.
Okay. So I want to preface this by saying, is there a tutorial or something? Or
Yeah, it's like an hour and 35 minutes, and this is only one of the. It's called Crypted.
Yeah.
And this is the first trick that Daniel has actually brought out with Michael Murray. So it's Daniel Dorian Johnson and Michael Murray together.
Okay.
And it's the first one they've released with both of their names on it.
Okay.
And there's a whole bunch of other routines on there as well. So Michael comes out with his own routine, and then there's loads of talking and stuff with them pair just kind of riffing ideas backwards and forwards. I've noticed whenever you're watching a Mind Effects thing that Michael Murray seems to make most of it up during the tutorial, because he'll just come up with an idea and then we'll
He
have
can't
this
help
idea
himself.
as well.
He's genius.
Yeah, he's just
a genius.
constantly. His
They're
brain's
both
constantly
they're
going.
both geniuses. They really are. Yeah, and I obviously haven't seen the tutorial. I'm guessing you get this.
Yeah, you get a couple of those, and then you also, in the deluxe version, you also get a card, a credit card, which was the original idea that Daniel wanted to come up with, but he couldn't get away around making these cards because apparently it's illegal to do them. But then Michael figured out a way of doing it. So you get one of these as well. That's for the deluxe version. But they're both exactly the same. You just get a spare. But that is the main presentation that I've just done. You get two of those.
And then you can do it with that if you want to. It's basically the same thing, but with 4 people.
There's various different things that you could. Well, no, because the last 4 on that is the last.
Oh right, okay, yeah.
So there's various different.
I have a couple of concerns.
Okay.
If I'm being honest, and I want to preface this by saying I love Michael Murray. I think he's probably the greatest mentalist in the world today. Him and Pete Turner are just right up there.
Okay.
And I also think Daniel Dorian Johnson is a creative powerhouse. Mm-hmm. My concern for this lies in the fact that I think if you did this and you had a spectator that was curious, you know those spectators that try to figure stuff out?
Yeah.
I think the logical thing to do would be to do what I just did there, which is just take a couple of random numbers from each four-digit number and multiply them together. And when I did that, I got that.
Right, okay.
The point is, I think that the way that it's presented, like, okay, you take 2 from this, you take 2 from this, you take 2 from this, multiply all 3 of them together. I think anybody that's curious as to how magic's done, you know, when you perform for engineers and people like that are trying to figure it out, I think if you left that on the table, I think they'd go, oh, let me just try something here. And I just did that, and I came to the same number, and I took different numbers from each section. Mm-hmm. I took different 2-digit numbers from each section. I got to the same thing. I think somebody who was interested in working this out, if you left that on the table, could do so very, very quickly.
Okay, but which you wouldn't, because you'd just put it straight back in your wallet.
Yeah, but if somebody said to you, hey, let me look at that business card, I want to just try something. If you go, oh, no, you can't have the business card, it just looks a bit... Do you know what I mean? It's like...
Yeah, no, I mean...
I don't really want to slag off either Michael Murray or Daniel Dorian Johnson because they're brilliant. But again, I want to be honest about this. You know, I think that's really important. And maybe I'm completely wrong, because Daniel and Michael will have performed this a million times. I know they will, because neither one of them released something until it's been worked into the nth degree. Yeah. But from my point of view, from the outside looking in, without looking at the tutorial and basing it just off that presentation, and there was nothing wrong with the presentation, by the way, it was great. But I that's my big concern, that the method can be very easily worked out. And I didn't know how it was done. My one shot is what I think. Michael, did you kind of think the same thing? Because he's not a magician. Did you?
I would have gone down a similar...
Yeah, you would have gone down a similar sort of route. So I think it's kind of fairly logical, because you're being specific about, right, okay, because it's a little bit procedural. To get to that final 4-digit number, it's a bit procedural, right? Okay, so we've got this phone number. First of all, it doesn't look like a real phone number, because +44 is the dialing code for the UK.
It is.
But everybody knows that there's no UK phone number that begins with 9. There is no UK phone number.
Yeah, but +44 is 07.
No, but in the +44. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Yeah, actually, that's a good point. It's a 4-digit number. That would be 07. Okay, I get that. But it's what I'm trying to say is it's very procedural. It's very much a case of, right, okay, so this is the number. You take these 4 digits. You think of 2 of them. You think of 2 of them. You think of 2 of them. Now we're going to multiply them together. Now we're going to multiply this one together.
Yeah.
It's very procedural to get to this final thing. And the procedure can be backtracked fairly quickly. In terms of, okay, well, let's just try a different 2-digit number. That's what I did. I just took 2, I did the end of that one, the middle of that one, the beginning of that one, which I knew that we hadn't done. And I did the thing, and it came to the same number. And it's like, well, that's my issue with it. The fact that it can be very easily backtracked. And like you say, yeah, you can put it away. But have you ever had a spectator? I'm sure you've had spectators that are like, let me look at that deck of cards when you've done Stebbins, or let me look at that die. Yeah, it just happens. You know, there's not a single close-up magician in the world that hasn't experienced like an engineer or somebody who's trying to figure something out. And if they go, you know, let me have a look at that business card. Nope. But what do you do in that situation? Do you have a duplicate business card that you bring out with a different number? Because that would probably not work. Do you know what I mean? That's my issue. That's my issue with it. Was that covered on the tutorial?
I don't know. I didn't watch all of it because it was last night. But
and again, the only other problem I've got with it is, let's say you're 1248 TOX, and if you got your rotation lock on, no, you haven't. I don't know. The point I was trying to make, if you do toxic with a calculator, because you haven't to use a calculator to add these things out to multiply these anyway.
Yeah. Because
you're not going to be able to multiply in your head what you need to get to 1248 unless you're a mathematician. So what's the advantage of this over toxic? Not toxic plus, the original toxic. What's the advantage of this? Because what toxic does is it allows you to force a number. It's a very good method for forcing a 4-digit number. I can understand why you're bringing a phone into play to do this, because you've got the phone in play there, so you can then do the password and unlocks. Totally makes sense. But why have the business card? You're all about reducing the amount of props. Like your fucking stage show is nothing but a cardboard tube, a candle, and some wine glasses. Like you're all about which you borrow from the venue. It's all about reducing the props. You already said to me, the less props that I can do, the better. Well, you can do the same thing with that. And you can just say, put a 2-digit number in randomly, any 2-digit number. Hit add, put another 2-digit number in. Now pass it over to that person, times it by a 1-digit number. Very good, now hit minus, put a 2-digit number in. Okay, press equals. Is that a random number? Now, maybe you haven't got the story, but you can still tell the story.
You can still tell the story. Daniel mentions this in the tutorial, where he speaks about the fact that normally when you're performing, you're the bad guy, because you're the one that's fooling the people, and then to us, they're the bad guy because they're the ones that are trying to figure it out. Whereas this has got a really nice spin on the actual story itself, because this guy's the bad guy.
Yes.
So he's the one that's done the wrong thing. He's the one that's swindled me. He's the one that's taken my money. And then all of a sudden, we're both on the same team, and everybody doesn't like this guy. which is fine because he doesn't exist. But having that picture of him kind of cements in people's minds, and having this card cements in people's minds that this is a real guy, this actually happened, and it's kind of like a different spin on it because we're making somebody else the villain in the story, which I kind of liked. So it makes sense to me, and I like the fact that that's what they've done with it.
Are there live performances on the project?
There are performances to each other.
No. I'm not talking about studio performances.
No.
There's not live performances. Because my concern about this is I just think you're going to get busted on this. Well, not busted. I think that mathematicians would probably be able to work out what you've done very, very easily. Because if you're a mathematician, and you know we go to events where there's accounts and accountants and stuff like that, anybody who works with numbers, I think just by looking at that in their head, they could probably work it out just by looking at the number as you're giving the presentation. Mm-hmm. But I think that any mathematician would be able to work this out. And I think that anybody who tries to work out...
You're pretty good at maths. Do you reckon you could work it
out? Probably in my head. Not right away. But yeah, I'd be able to times them numbers together relatively quickly. Whether I could do that in the duration of your performance...
But
it depends on how long.
Michael might be good at maths, but he's not a mathematician. No. Like, I'm just saying, somebody who works with numbers 24/7, like they just deal with numbers. I could do that, like 8 times 12. Well, that's just the 8 times table. That's fairly easy. Then you get a 3-digit number, and you'd multiply that by. I think that you could probably do it fairly easily. But the point is, I'd love to see this being done in the real world, because my concern with this, I think it's genius. I think the method is great. Mm-hmm. Typical genius thinking. But I just think that you perform this to the wrong type of person, to somebody who's trying to work out how magic's done. And I think they'd be able to very easily, even if they don't know how it's done, I think it wouldn't be difficult for them to take the leap of thinking, well, let me look at that card. I want to time some different numbers together. Because the level of freedom that you gave them is, hey, pick any beginning two or middle two or end two. So it's logical to then think, what would have happened if I'd done it this way and this way and this way? Mm-hmm. And then you've got nothing. And as you say, you can put it away. But if somebody goes, can I have a look at that business card? You go, no, we're on to another thing now. Let me show you my electronic dice. You know what I mean? It's kind of like...
that is what I do, probably, but...
Yeah, but I also know that you've taken stuff out of your act if people challenge you on it too many times, because you don't like to be challenged.
It's not that I don't like to be challenged, but if I'm not comfortable doing something because I think that I'm going to get caught, then why would you do that?
Well, do you think I'm talking crap?
People are paying for it.
Do you think I'm talking crap, or do you think that makes sense to you?
No, I mean, I wouldn't be able to work that out. I wouldn't...
Now, even if you can't work it out, do you think it would be logical for somebody, like he said that he would do that, do you think it would be logical for somebody to think, I wonder what
happened? For people that are really good at maths, people that have got that kind of maths
not even,
head.
I'm not great at maths, but it's not about being great at maths. It's a fact of, you had me multiply 2-digit number here, 2-digit number here, 2-digit number here, and you ended up with a 4-digit number. If you had somebody think, well, I wonder what happened if you take a different 2-digit number and multiply.
I know what you mean.
That's not about maths. That's like thinking through. I think it's more about somebody who would want to know how it works. And I bump in. I think there's more people in the real world that are trying to figure stuff out these days than ever before. And they're trying to come up with methods, and they're coming. Oh, it's in your other hand. Oh, let me see your hand, whatever it may be. You play on that with your presentation with Stebbins. You're like, oh, let me say, I can tell you, see how it works. Look, I'm looking to their eye, and they're looking up to the left, and they buy into that. They're desperate to know how this bollocks that you're showing them works, and that's your presentation for Stebbins. I've seen you do it enough times. Yeah. That's what you do. People are naturally curious about how this stuff's done. Yeah. That's my concern with it. I think it's a great trick. I just think it's a bit procedural when you could do the same thing with Toxic. And but I'd like to see a live performance. Are you going to do this? Because we're at a gig tomorrow night. Are you comfortable enough to do that? Because if you are, I'll film you doing it.
Well, I mean, I could speak. I will speak to Daniel and give him your feedback, and then see what he says.
To be clear, I'm not saying this is a bad trick. I don't. It's a great trick, and I haven't watched the tutorial, and my only experience of it is that performance.
Yeah.
I just would be concerned. This is the sort of thing that I would look at and I'd go, first of all, it's not my sort of style of magic because it's a bit too procedural, and the thing that carries it is the story, and I'm not a naturally great storyteller when I do magic anyway. As you know, it's kind of more hit and run style stuff. So I'm not a good enough performer to be able to make this work for me, and I'm well aware of my limitations. And I think if you put a good story to it like you did, I think that people will buy into it, and maybe they buy into the story and they buy into who this guy is and they buy into all of that, and they don't think about the fact. But it's kind of like, what the whole story was about. Hey, you take your own stuff and you do triple blah and blah 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 blah. So why are we using his number? Why not say, hey, write your mobile number down. Now take 4 digits from your mobile number. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like,
because that wouldn't work.
I know it wouldn't, but the presentation leads you to think through that, you know, because you're talking about, hey, this is what you do. This is that's my concern. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. Are you going to do it? Give it a review.
I like it. I think it's really clever. I've not seen anything that's got that kind of presentation to it before, and I really like the presentation. I like the idea of... I think the idea of making somebody else the villain is really, really clever. I've not heard of
Presentationally,
really.
I think it's amazing, yeah.
Presentationally, it's brilliant. You do get other routines. Obviously, Michael's put his routines in there as well. You get the card. So if you didn't like the fact that you use the phone number on that card, there's different things you can do with this card, which you get as well in the deluxe one. So there's loads of different routines and stuff on there. I just did the main routine, which was Daniel's main routine off of the project, but it's Michael Murray and Daniel Dorian Johnson. There's loads of stuff on there. It's an hour and 35 minutes tutorial, and it's literally just like a few minutes at the start just explaining how it works, and the rest of it is routines and stuff. So there's loads of different options of things you can do on there. I think it's great. I don't know how much it is, but it's brilliant. I think it's great. I think it's really cool.
So can I video you doing it?
If you wish.
Yeah. You can do it tomorrow?
Yeah. If you've got me worried about it now, but
no, don't be worried about it. I'm probably talking rubbish. I'm probably overthinking this, but I'd love to know.
Okay.
I don't know why they didn't do a live performance of
It's
this.
called Crypted.
Give it a percentage. Give it a percentage. I can't because I haven't seen the tutorial, so I'm not going to give it a percentage. But I can't. It's impossible. But you can.
But it's not a stage piece, and it's not like a cabaret style piece or anything.
It's an everyday carry type thing.
It's an everyday carry close up scenario type piece. I think I would give it... I like that it's like literally just a card, and then it's predominantly story based.
I agree.
And the tutorial is really in depth. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah. I didn't do any. Oh yeah.
You did show it directly to the camera.
Can we blur that out?
QR code, we'll blur that out. Sorry. You'd think I'd have got the hang of this by now, but obviously not.
He's just done it again.
Did I? Well, just blur it out. Fucking hell. That's your job.
It's really easy for him to do that
Blur
as
it
well.
out.
So.
It's your job. That's what you do.
Give it a percentage.
I'm going to go... Well, I haven't performed it live yet, so...
Yeah, but you've watched the tutorial. You performed it to me.
I'm going to give it 90.
90%. Okay, 90%. Cool. I'm going to get a video of Ryan. No, you're not Ryan. I'm going to get a video of Matt doing this. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, Daniel and Michael are amazing. I just... I don't think it's as good as some of the other stuff. I mean, they brought out some incredible stuff at Blackpool. I haven't seen all of it yet, but Michael blew me away with this poker chip thing. Like, absolutely blew me away with it. And, like, Daniel's Iceberg last year, I think was one of the tricks of the convention. I don't think it's as good as Iceberg. But, you know, as an EDC, I think it's great. Put it in your wallet, you're good to go. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Yeah, cool. Brilliant. Thanks very much, Matt.
You're welcome.
That's another great test in the bag. Do me a favour, let me know what you think down below. Did you pick this up at Blackpool? Am I full of crap? I probably am. Michael and Daniel are way better than I will ever be at creating Mentalism, and they've probably had more experience performing Mentalism than I ever will. I'm just coming at this as somebody who does magic, so, you know, I'm probably wrong. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. Matt will be back again soon. Thanks very much for watching. I'm Craig. He's Matt. We'll see you again on a Matt or a Craig testing.